One of the most common claims you'll hear online is that Emperor Constantine gathered church leaders together and created the Bible at the Council of Nicaea. Some say he removed books from Scripture. Others claim he invented Christianity altogether. These stories have become incredibly popular in documentaries, novels, and social media, but they're not what happened. The real story is actually far more fascinating. The Council of Nicaea was called because Christianity itself had become deeply divided over one critical question. Who exactly was Jesus? By the end of this episode, we'll separate centuries of myth from the historical evidence and see how one emperor forever changed both the Roman Empire and the future of Christianity. In 312 CE, Constantine marched toward Rome to challenge his rival emperor, Maxentius. According to later Christian writers, particularly Eusebius of Caesarea and Lactantius, Constantine experienced a remarkable vision before the battle. One version says he saw a cross of light above the sun with the words, "By this sign, conquer." Another says he dreamed Christ instructed him to place the Chi-Rho, the first two Greek letters of Christ's name, on his soldiers' shields. Whether the vision happened exactly as described remains debated among historians. What is beyond dispute is that Constantine won an overwhelming victory at the Battle of the Milvian Bridge. Maxentius drowned in the Tiber River. Constantine became the dominant ruler of the Western Roman Empire, and Christianity's fortunes changed forever. Only a year after his victory, Constantine and his eastern colleague Licinius issued what became known as the Edict of Milan. Rather than making Christianity the official religion, it granted freedom of worship throughout the empire. This distinction is important. Christianity was legalized, not established as the state religion. For the first time in nearly 3 centuries, Christians could worship openly. Churches confiscated during persecutions were returned. Bishops could travel freely. Christian communities could own property. The brutal persecutions under emperors like Diocletian largely came to an end. The church moved from surviving in secrecy to becoming an accepted part of Roman society. Peace with Rome did not bring peace within Christianity. A priest from Alexandria named Arius began teaching that Jesus, although divine, had been created by God the Father. His famous slogan was, "There was a time when the Son was not." To Arius, Christ was the highest created being, but not eternal. His bishop, Alexander of Alexandria, fiercely rejected this idea, arguing that the Son had always existed with the Father. The disagreement spread rapidly across the empire. Bishops took sides, cities became divided, congregations split apart. Constantine feared that religious conflict would undermine the unity he had worked so hard to restore across the empire. Rather than deciding the issue himself, he called church leaders together to settle it. In 325 CE, bishops from across the Roman Empire gathered in the city of Nicaea in Bithynia. This became known as the First Council of Nicaea, the first ecumenical or empire-wide council in Christian history. Constantine financed the travel of many bishops and ceremonially opened the council, but he was not a theologian and did not determine its doctrine. Instead, the bishops debated scripture, theology, and apostolic tradition as they sought to answer one of Christianity's most important questions: was Jesus Christ fully and eternally God, or was he a created being? After weeks of debate, the overwhelming majority rejected Arius's teachings. Although the controversy continued for decades, the council established the theological foundation that would shape Christian orthodoxy for centuries to come. The council's greatest lasting achievement was the creation of what we now call the Nicene Creed. Its language directly addressed the Arian Controversy. It declared that Jesus Christ is begotten, not made, true God from true God, of one substance, homoousios, with the Father. That single Greek word became one of the most influential theological terms in Christian history. Many churches around the world still recite an expanded version of this creed every week, nearly 1,700 years later. The council also addressed several practical matters, including establishing a common method for calculating the date of Easter and issuing disciplinary canons for church governance. This is where history and popular culture often diverge. The Council of Nicaea did not vote on which books belonged in the Bible. The 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, had already been widely accepted and used across Christian communities for generations. The council also did not invent Christianity. Christians had existed for nearly 300 years before Constantine was born. Nor did the bishops gather to destroy hundreds of competing gospels. While various Christian writings certainly circulated in antiquity, the process of recognizing the biblical canon had developed gradually over centuries through widespread usage by churches, theological consistency, and apostolic connection, not through a single vote at Nicaea. Understanding what Nicaea actually accomplished is far more impressive than the myths. It established a common statement of belief that helped unify a rapidly growing church during one of the most significant turning points in Roman history. Constantine did not instantly create a Christian empire. Pagan traditions continued for generations, and Christianity would not become the empire's official religion until decades later under Theodosius I. But Constantine's reign marked a dramatic turning point. The church emerged from the shadows. Imperial resources began supporting Christian institutions. Theological debates became matters of imperial concern. The Roman Empire was changing, and so was the Christian world. In the next episode, we'll explore how this transformation continued after Constantine, leading to the rise of the Byzantine Empire, growing tensions between East and West, and the foundations of medieval Christendom.